Yo, Laurent,
Yo, what are you guys saying?
is it a full moon today?
Bro, it's a full moon. It's the pressing World Cup. It's everything.
Wait, oh, why is it depressing? This is the first time that the three of us have been recording in ages. And how's the
Mm,
World Cup depressing?
yeah, well, listen, because my teams have just not been doing it for me, man. All all year, I should say.
T
Yeah.
Take notes, listeners, viewers. Teams, teams,
Yeah, no, I got multiple teams in the World Cup.
and you said in the league. So you got
I
Chelsea,
I did not
United.
I did not say in the league. I just said my teams, right? So one team in the league, and then I got multiple teams I support aside from where I'm from, right? From the national side. But nice try though. Nice try.
Yo, you didn't answer my text when I asked you about with regards to the representation of the African nations. Are
Oh,
you claiming Morocco or no?
oh yeah, no. Morocco is definitely up there. It's just I don't know, bro. Like I feel like sometimes does Morocco even claim us, right?
Mm.
So that to me is that's it's always a question. Listen, I hate to be the guy to bring to bring things back up from the archives, but I think it was the last World Cup. Soufiane Boufal, the Moroccan player. I don't know if you guys know. I think it was after a win. I forgot, or maybe even when they made it to semis, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah, they did semis last time out.
But he was pretty much like, um, I do this for so and so, right? And he kind of just left out, you know what I mean, like the continent in terms of like. So it's like this win is like, you see what I'm saying? Like it's like for Morocco, right? For this, and then you kind of just left out. So like the rest of us were like, wait, what? Like, you see what I'm saying? We're almost like, are we
So
not?
so he was bigging up the nation but not the continent, essentially. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and like the way you said, right? And then after the fact, he did actually revise the tweet. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like when it comes to Moroccans, sometimes you just don't know. I feel right. So, but at the end of the day, listen, I claim you know all people, right? Even people from the outside, right? I was looking for Mexico to do very well, um, not only because England knocked us out. But I don't know, man. The fans, the energy, and I've like bumped into some Mexican fans as well, right? In my building, so positive energy all throughout. So yeah.
What about Egypt? Are you claiming Egypt for tomorrow?
Yeah. I gotta support. I'm pretty sure Arnie Slot will also be supporting Egypt as well for his reasons. So yeah, no, I'm a supporter of uh, of Egypt, and I hope they do well, man. I hope they do well.
Hmm. Could be the end of the road for them tomorrow, to be honest.
You think so? Wait, it's Argentina, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I will say this because even when we watched, you guys watched Argentina versus Cape Verde.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Honestly speaking.
Me personally, I gotta applaud the effort, man. We use this word a lot, eh? Especially me and you over the last couple of weeks. Bravery and
Mm,
just going for it, even when you're the underdog. And I think it felt like that was one of those games where the whole world, well, maybe not the whole world, because there are a lot of Messi fans and Argentinian fans and whatnot, but it just like, everybody was kind of rooting for Cape Verde in that game, I feel like, good underdog story, small nation. So yeah, I thought it was a valiant effort on their part, but I think, Argentina was always going to win that in the end, even if they made it hard for themselves. But yeah, the script was written, but yeah, no, they did well, man, and they were definitely the bright spot of the tournament, I would say.
okay. You remember that?
Yeah, so you just say the script was written. FIFA won that game for Argentina.
Really? Wait,
Jeez.
What in that game did you see that kind
There
of
was going to be no way that FIFA was going to allow Argentina to go out
mm,
to Cape Verde.
okay, okay.
There's
Well,
been a
listen,
lot of examples of FIFA interfering in the World Cup, selectively, might I say.
mm,
Um, and Argentina is one of those selective teams. Messi not receiving a red card for a similar tackle that Balogun did. The red card from Balogun being rescinded. Um, the mistreatment of the Iran national team to say
mm,
that politics isn't in football, but then you get a call from the doofus down south and you reverse a red card, you know. It's yeah, FIFA won. FIFA won. Cape Verde should have I think they played phenomenal. They for a nation so small and the amount of money that they were able to get from this tournament, I think their program's going to take a next step. So it was very well played. Yes, Argentina, there's no question they're more talented. They have, like there's no question about that, but um they almost went into it thinking we're going to win
mm,
rather than putting their opponent away. You want to make a statement to the rest of the teams in the tournament that you're coming back to defend your trophy. You win that game for 5-0,
mm.
right?
Yeah, no, it didn't look like a good performance from a defending or a reigning champion, sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
you got like those are the statement games in a tournament, right? Like you want to have as little emotion in a game as possible so that you can save that for a semifinal game, right? Because it's only going to get harder and harder from here on out, and the players are going to get better and better. Um, you know,
no, I
team
hear
like
you.
a team like Argentina, a team like Brazil, which we'll get to, right? Um, yeah, emotions got the best of them.
Mm. But I mean, in Argentina's defense, I think we've all noticed that the smaller sides this year have played with a bit of a chip on their shoulders and have given quite a bit of trouble to a lot of the bigger sides, right? So it was not easy for
Can I challenge that thought process for a second, though?
mm,
Is that true, or is it the fact that because there's so many teams,
hmm
when the bigger nations are going into those games, they look at the standings, and because if even if you finish in third place, depending on your goal differential and how many points you have, you still have the ability to move on. So is it that they're looking and trying to save their energy because they're like, oh, even if we draw this game or lose this game, we still have the ability to go on as third place? Or is it actually that the smaller nations are playing out of their socks?
mm,
In some scenarios, I will agree with you,
hmm
but I think if you look at the overall picture, the fact that so many third place teams got in, I think I mean, you guys said it yourselves, right? Austria, Algeria. Like, like if there's a possibility that a scenario like that can happen,
mm,
that like there's a reason why for the last game of the season in the Premier League, everyone starts at the same time because there is a possibility that by the last game of the season, like depending on how the scores are, and we've seen it happen in the past, depending on how the scores are, the Premier League can be decided. Same thing with Champions League, right? When it gets towards those critical moments, everyone starts at the same time to avoid any under the table handshakes,
hmm
right? So for me, it's yes, smaller nations have actually stepped up their game, but I also think the bigger nations have looked at the big picture of things, and if they already won their opening game, even if they draw, they're gonna make it through. So why give that much extra effort when you can save yourself? Because a lot of these players, for the bigger nations, I'm using air quotations if you're listening to this on audio, um, 4-1 Belgium, thank God. Romelu Lukaku. Um, for those bigger nations, a lot of their players are coming off seasons with the Premier League, with the French League, Serie A. Like they want to try to save them for the big moments, not for a group stage where they can still advance. That's the way I look at it. I might be wrong, and I'm okay to be challenged on that thought process, but I think there's a lot of quirks that this new World Cup format has shown.
No, I agree. I agree. Um, I think for me when I was well, yeah, we did see I guess you could call it a few interesting results in the group stage, but even in the knockout stages where you actually have to get those results, right? I think we did see a few games as well that were close to the wires, right? Despite the skill gap. I mean, Germany getting taken out by
Yeah.
Paraguay, that's a big one. And then I mean Paraguay's game after that, right? Yes, on paper, only a 1-0. France did dominate, right? But they didn't make it very hard for France, right? To go out and show what that attack can do. Um, yeah, no. I mean, what else here? Brazil, Japan, that was almost, but I don't know. I think Japan is ranked actually quite well, right?
Yeah, Japan's ranked quite well. Um, Looking through it, I mean, Morocco's ranked fourth, if I'm not mistaken, in the
No,
world.
I think they're lower than that. But like they're in and around there. I think they're like sixth. So it's still within like
Yeah, they're top 10, I think.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, what else? Yeah, like the Norway Brazil, like on paper, yeah, it looks like it's a bad result, but like Norway, when you, and I hate that I'm saying this, when you have the best striker in the world as it currently stands, sorry, Hurricane, anything can happen. And we saw two moments of brilliance,
Hmm.
right? And we're talking about the emotions, right? Like the emotions got the best of Brazil, right? So this World Cup has been very interesting, and I think a lot of people are being exposed, as CJ always says. A lot of players are being exposed, and as much as I love Gabriel, I think he's being exposed without Saliba.
Really?
Damn.
I
That
think,
is interesting. I didn't think we
yeah,
could go there.
I
It's
think, and I might be looking at this wrong, but when I watch the French side play, Saliba's playing on the left side, and he's holding it down.
mm,
And Gabriel's playing on his favorite side, playing next to Marquinhos, and he's playing well, don't get me wrong, but especially against Erling Haaland, like he was exposed in that Norway game.
Well, let's talk about it, man. That was a good starting point. It's a good starting point. I mean, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. We are back. The band is back together. Long 10-minute intro there, but we start off hot and firing with the trending topics. But yeah, man, the three of us are here. Um, Enjoying the World Cup clearly, and yeah, man, I think that's definitely a good starting point. The Brazil game. A lot of us have interest in Brazil for many different reasons. I mean, all of the football world usually do have an interest in Brazil, a classic traditional footballing nation. I think they're a club, they're a country, sorry, when it comes to football, they're a club or a country for the streets, right? The streets love Brazilian football. So it's sad to see, I think, what's going on with them nowadays and the change in dynamic of player quality. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, it's sad to see, you go from Rivaldo, R9, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Robinho,
Hafu.
to Roberto Carlos, Dani Alves, Marcelo,
Yeah.
like the list goes on and on. And then with all due respect, it's now Danilo and Igor Thiago, and you know
Martinelli.
with all due respect, that's our guy, man. But I'm sorry, you can't be starting Martinelli in a World Cup match for Brazil in the knockout round. You know what I mean? Like with all due
No.
respect. We tell it how it is on this channel, man. I'm not here to cap. I'm not here to mess about. Martinelli's a guy, Premier League winner. But I'm sorry, bro. I said this in a couple of my group chats. I think Carlo lost the plot yesterday. He's a world-class manager, but stick to club football, my guy. And there's also something to be said. I want to get your guys' take on this. Do you guys think that managers for national teams should be from that nation? But hold that thought. But here's why I think Carlo fucked up. Problem number one, you left your best Brazilian striker at home in João Pedro.
Hmm.
I think tactically he got done yesterday, right? So not only did he leave João Pedro at home, right? But the guy you brought in instead of him, Igor Thiago, again, all due respect to that guy, he did well for Brentford this season. But you bring him in, played him in the first game of the tournament. He had a stinker, and then you haven't played him since. So you're basically admitting that you got that wrong from day one, right? Yesterday, you've basically conceded possession in that game. We're talking about Brazil here, guys. Like the Brazil, right? Getting out possessed and out dominated and playing for a counterattack against Norway. With all due respect again to Norway, right? You guys made Odegaard, and you guys know my thoughts about Odegaard, bro. They made Odegaard look like fucking prime Iniesta, like running the show in midfield. How was Brazil not dominating the midfield battle? They sat off, especially in the second half. Sat off, allowed them to concede, have the possession, have the territory, and then you're playing on the break, bro. This is disgusting to watch. I'm going to use that word. I'm sorry, bro. This is Brazil. I love Brazil. Jamaicans, bro. We love Brazil, fam. You know, Jamaicans never make the World Cup, so we always ride out for Brazil because we love the samba, we love the flair. Remind us of the Jamaican style, like the dance hall, the movement. You know what I mean? Like the way they play, bro. We didn't see none of that. What am I watching? Norway, fam. And we're conceding possession. Look, bro, tactically in the second half, he took off. He didn't even know where he was going, I think, Carlo, in that second half. What did he do? He took off Martinelli, right? Eventually brought on Neymar to play where? Neymar's playing up top. Neymar's washed, right? So you took out Cunha as well. You play Neymar up top.
Yeah.
You move Endrick to the right. What are we doing? Move Endrick to the right. You have Neymar playing in like a number nine position, and your midfield is exposed even more. You bring off who did he bring off? I think he brought up Bruno and he's playing Danilo in there. He's playing like there's no creativity. 35-year-old Casemiro, who's also washed, had a horrible game yesterday. He's been exposed for a lot of this tournament as well, just getting overrun in
Hmm.
midfield. Bro, like what do we there's just zero creativity in that team. What was he looking to do tactically in that second half? I have no idea what he was trying to do. Like what was Neymar meant to do? Yeah, again, he's coming on and he's taking off the Cunha and Neymar's playing like kind of this number nine or false nine position. He wasn't really in the game, Neymar.
No.
And like I said, he brought off that Ryan from Bournemouth, who's a good young player, and he pushed Endrick to the right. But Endrick, he's a striker. He's your number nine. Why are you playing him on the right? It was all over the place as far as I'm concerned, and he just exposed how badly they needed midfield control, and they didn't have anybody in there to control the game. Um, Obviously, look, Bruno missed the penalty in the first half. That changes the game, I'm sure, in my opinion. Vinny didn't take it, and that's another thing we question. We looked at the Champions League final and we said, why did you look at your big players. Gabriel stepped up in the Champions League final, took the penalty and missed, but then you're looking at, where was Madueke, where was Ubamendi, where are your forward players, right? Why is Gabriel stepping up to take a penalty in the Champions League
Hmm.
final? I'm thinking the same thing yesterday when it comes to Vinny, bro. You're the guy, you're Real Madrid's main man, this and that. Like, who allowed Bruno to take that penalty? And he
Yeah.
came out afterwards. We heard afterwards that he said it was a coach's decision. Apparently, Vini wasn't even in the top five penalty takers for Brazil. Just a bunch of nonsense. Like, you really have to just question what's going on. Like, this is not making any sense to me. In hindsight's a wonderful thing. If Bruno scores that, like he's done for Newcastle, we're all saying, no one's talking about it. But the fact of the matter is, these are the fine margins, and we are talking about it now. And now Brazil's gone home in the round of 16, I think, for the first time since the 90s, which is, again, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing if you're Brazil.
Well,
Uh,
Laurent and I were talking about the last pod, um, because we were going through it, and I said it. I said these, we talked about it during the season, the weight of the jersey with
mhm.
respect to Arsenal and Chelsea. And if you look at this team, outside of Vinicius, respectfully, no one else is making like the Brazil teams that we're used to watching,
Mhm.
right? Sure, Neymar in his prime would, but like, and again, this is no disrespect, but I'm gonna name off a few people, and you tell me if you know where they play. Roger Ibanez,
No, negative.
Weaverton, Leo Pereira, Ederson Silva, Luis Henrique. Like, these aren't household names. Similar to Germany, that's another big nation. The weight of the jersey is heavy. And to have players wearing the numbers that they're wearing for a nation like this. Like when you look at number 10 for Brazil, who do you think of?
You're thinking of,
Ronaldinho.
yeah, guys like Dino, yeah.
All right. And respect to Neymar. In his prime,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would say
He can get into that
yes.
into the prime Brazil,
Neymar
yeah.
in your prime, you would, but now, no. Number 7, who do you think of? I promise you it's not Vinny, right? Number 9. Number 9. If I told you Mateus Cunha is supposed to be the 9 for the Brazil, you guys would have laughed in my face, right? This is the issue with Brazil, right? Similarly with Germany, right? And this is in no way, shape, or form, and I think I speak for the three of us. This is in no way, shape, or form to say that Norway doesn't deserve this win. Norway played phenomenal. Norway played as a unit. Norway did not play as individuals. And early in Holland, you kind of have to put your hands up and say, My man, like you stepped up. You took your game to that next level that everyone's been waiting to see. Like his second goal,
Yeah, bro.
like I don't know if you saw the reverse angle of him like when he first shot it. He already ran off to celebrate because he knew. Like that's what we're used to seeing, right? Um for Brazil, there is gonna be a lot of questions to be asked of Carlo Ancelotti. Like I said, I love Martinelli, but in a knockout stage game like this, respectfully, he's not touching the pitch. And yes, we do have to say that Rafinha was injured. So there is that. If Rafinha wasn't injured, maybe he would have played. Um, but in a game like this where you want to have a little bit of control, like I would have loved to see Vinny and Cunha, but put in Igor Thiago up there to try to hold the ball and give you a little bit of control. Right? You have no control. You have no height. You have nothing. Right? And again, I'm not $1 million Champions League winning, Premier League winning, Serie A. Ancelotti's won everything, but he got it wrong, completely wrong.
I think whilst we're sort of criticizing Brazil, we also do have to maybe spend a minute or two talking about obviously Erling Haaland. Now that he's doing it, on the international stage, like everyone always says that guy, he's a striker that needs service, and oh, he plays for Man City. So Kevin De Bruyne, Silva, these guys, Cherky, he gets all the supply in the world. But now the guy's doing it on the international stage without those kind of players around him, you would say. Um, Again, I think yesterday was a statement that this guy is here to, he's saying I'm here with the likes of Mbappe and Messi, Harry Kane, put me in those conversations. I think that's what he's trying to say yesterday because again, he's playing without, he doesn't play for the same national sides that those guys play for example, historically. And, he's putting up the numbers still. This isn't Man City. This is Norway and against Brazil, right? Like I said, the heaviest of football international jerseys. He did that to Brazil. And I think, yeah, I think now the world is kind of football fans. I think generally, we all knew about what Holland's about, but I think this one was now for the world to see like who this guy is, And we have to again as Arsenal guys, that's our arch nemesis, that's the enemy number one. But fair play to him, man. Both goals, right? He's a striker that we know he could be marked out of a game for 80 minutes, but you give him 1 minute and he'll take his chance. And I
Mhm.
think, what do you guys think about the Gabriel thing? Because I think a lot of people are giving him a hard time. But I think what happened to him yesterday can happen. It's sad to say. Like, maybe I'm defending Gabriel a little bit. It's not like, oh, Gabriel's poor, this and that. Did he have a poor game? Okay, maybe. But I think sometimes that can happen when you're playing against Holland, man. Like sometimes he'll win those battles. And unfortunately for your defender, when you lose your battle, it often concedes to a goal, right? It's different than a midfielder or a winger. They can lose the ball, they can make a mistake, and it doesn't result in a goal because you play further up the pitch. When a defender makes a mistake, you can be so switched on for again, like I said, 80 minutes, 85 minutes but one mistake, one switch off can cost you. And I think that's what can happen when you're playing against Erling Haaland. The first goal, Gabriel clearly gets done by just the sheer strength and the power of Haaland. Haaland was just a yard quicker. to that ball, to that header than Gabriel was, and kind of, bullied him a little bit there in that instance. So I think it's a tad bit unlucky, man. But Holland's a hard guy
It's
to
crazy
contend
though,
with.
because bro, like it's like Gabriel is known for,
Hmm.
you know, being very quick.
And
Um,
physical.
yeah, and physical. So you see what I'm saying? So
But don't you guys think that, see, like again against Holland, like you can lose a physical battle sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you'll win them against him, sometimes you'll lose him because he's just people are saying that guy's built out of a lab, bro. He's like an actual robot. You know what I mean? He's got the whole package as a striker, like a physical specimen, speed, strength, obviously finishing ability, like everything.
I mean, there's been defenders who he's played against who have been able to lock him out.
Yeah, like us, like our guys, Saliba and Gabriel have gotten the better of him before. So sometimes they win those battles, sometimes they lose those battles against him. I feel like it's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm not going to fully, give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he did probably make a mistake a little bit on the first goal. He could have been a little bit quicker and more switched on. Like, to your point, he's usually good in those instances and he's usually first to the ball. But yeah, yesterday he got done in that instance, and I guess it is what it is. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, what did you guys think of the Spain-Portugal game today?
Ha, man, Ramos, I apologize for your manager. I truly apologize for whatever that was. That's actually crazy when you think about it. Like to and it's to me it's all Martinez. Like I can't even because if
Mm.
Martinez says, "Yo, you gotta go," Ronaldo is gonna go. You know, he's probably gonna pout his lips. Well, I won two for the camera, right? Like he almost did in the last game. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he was about to crash out, and he realized, "Oh fuck, yeah, I'm 40. Like, what the fuck am I doing, acting like this?" And then he took the walk. And to me, it's all Martinez. There's no one else to blame for the fact that Ronaldo played 90 minutes. And you can just, at some point, you saw, yo, this guy was not going to contribute anything going forward. Yet he stayed on that pitch. And yeah, no, if I'm a Portuguese fan, I am livid.
I don't
Absolutely
think the
livid.
Portuguese fans look at it that way. They
I
live
was
and
gonna say
die.
they would
They
probably
live and
want
die
Ronaldo
with
on the pitch.
Ronaldo.
No, are
I
you
think if
serious?
Ronaldo came off and they lost 1-0, Martinez they'd be asking for Martinez's head. And I don't think the decision to play. I think if you were to ask Martinez behind closed doors, like
Hmm,
off record, I don't think it's his decision to play Ronaldo. I think it's coming from higher up.
jeez. Really, eh?
Of course, of course.
Mm.
It's the nation, bro. It's the nation. Martinez has. I don't think Martinez has a say in that. I agree with everything you're saying. I think Gonzalo Ramos should have started the game, and I think if you want to, the thing is, you can't do it with a player like Ronaldo because of his ego. But my argument to Ronaldo would have been let Ramos tire everybody out. You come in fresh at the 60th or 70th minute, and then you go in and you just cause havoc and you do what you do best.
Hey, you're asking Ronaldo to come off the bench.
Of course, when you're 41, when you got young guys who have legs against, we're talking about Spain. We're not talking about the Congo.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, that's not happening. You're not getting Ronaldo to come off the bench at uh at a World Cup in a Portuguese jersey. You tell me. Listen, if you guys think that I'm wrong, but I've
But
seen that.
would you out of all people, you would agree that it's not about him. It's about him, like it's about Portugal winning a World Cup. And if
Well,
he does whatever he needs to do for the team, for the collective,
mm,
he will go down as one of the greatest players in the world. He already is one of the greatest players in the world, unfortunately,
mm,
given his consistency over the years. But the knock on his resume is the World Cup,
right, right.
Hey,
right?
we ask him that, he'll tell you otherwise. Apparently, the Euros is on the same level as the World Cup.
I plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, listen, man. I think yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying, Laurent. It's. I think Martinez should have some balls in that instance. For lack of a better word. So yeah, just either drop him or not start him or take him off in games earlier. It's sad to see, bro. Like, you're the guy's playing and he's not helping the team at all, in any
No.
capacity. A lot of the other guys around him, right? The Bruno Fernandezes and Coutinho's, they haven't had the same kind of tournaments that they've had for their clubs this season, and a lot of Portuguese fans are crashing out at them and saying, "Hey, I've seen a lot of my own guys that I know, Portuguese friends of mine that are pissed off at Bruno Fernandes, saying, "Oh, it's all well and good doing it in a Man United kit, and breaking the assist record, blah blah blah, but you haven't showed up for your country in this World Cup aside from you only show up and score goals when it's friendlies and this and that." And as a from a tribalistic standpoint, as a Arsenal guy, Man United rivals and all that stuff, when I see that, I don't, I kind of laugh at it a little bit. Big bad Bruno Fernandes, not doing it. Our guys are doing pretty well in the World Cup, I must say. But that's another story. But yeah, man, Bruno Fernandes. Listen, again, that the tribalism stuff aside, is it his fault? Or is it a coincidence that some of the other stars are not playing very well? Vitinha's, Bruno Fernandes's. Are they hampered or are they handicapped because of Ronaldo's presence on the pitch, right? What do you guys think about that?
100%. There's that one play where Ruben Neves hit a ball over the back line as Ronaldo made that dashing run. If that was Gonzalo Ramos, he would have got there. He has the pace to run across the line.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm,
I'm not saying that Gonzalo Ramos would have scored. I think, Laurent, you know what play I'm talking about. Ronaldo literally did a diagonal run, but he was so slow that when Neves hit the ball over, like it was there past him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't even a hard ball.
Yeah, I know what
Like
you're talking
it,
about.
but like even I would even argue that if you put João Felix up top to play center forward, he would have got there. Now, is he going to finish? I don't know.
Mm,
But you can get a shot on target, you can get a corner
mm.
instead of giving the ball away,
you'd have
right?
Bro,
more pace and more legs there is what you're saying up top.
Yeah, 100%. And there's no doubt that Ronaldo could still im like if he came off the bench, like he would have a massive impact. Just his presence around the players, right? Like there's that side of the game too. Yes, I understand his ego would never allow it, but he cost himself a World Cup or potential at a World Cup. Like I genuinely do think that this Portuguese side is very talented, and I think they could have gotten far, but I think it would have had to come at the cost of Ronaldo's ego, and I
I
don't think the
agree.
Portuguese Federation would ever allow that.
I
They
agree.
created the monster.
Bro, Liam the Lap would have been more productive if he was
Okay,
Portuguese.
okay.
Okay,
Wait,
now we're.
what?
Is it diluted hour or what are we
No,
what are we
no, no,
doing?
no, no, no. 100% Liam the Lap
If
would have
if
been
you had said
more productive.
Garnacho, if you had said Garnacho, I would
Nah,
have
nah,
believed
nah.
you because of the
Like
pace alone.
I'm telling you guys, bro. I watched this game, bro. Ronaldo wasn't doing shit. There was even a point
So
towards
would
the
you
end,
say that Chris Wood would be more productive?
bro. We don't talk about that guy, bro. We don't talk about that guy. That guy is like I don't talk about him anymore. But I don't know if you guys remember. There is towards the end of the game, bro. Ronaldo's like coming out of the box now, and he's asking for ball to feet. I don't know if you guys saw that, right? Like he's asking, I think who was it? Was it Neves or Vitinha? Whoever had the ball on the left-hand side of the pitch, he's asking for it, right? And I'm like, first of all, like, bro, you're so out of position, and even in terms of like, if they make that pass, it's the bad pass to make. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? In that instance. And then, bro, let's say you get the pass. Now what? What are you
Yeah,
really
yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
from that distance? You
What are you
see,
gonna do against
like,
Kubrasi, Porro,
bro,
Rodri, Pedri? Like you're gonna eat them alive. These
uh,
players have legs. You don't have legs anymore.
that's what yo, and it's yo. What I think, what to me, is just so sad about him is I genuinely think that the reason why his performances, age aside, right, it is a big factor. It's the fact that he just was not able to reinvent his game for
Oh,
the
outside of
skill set.
pace.
Yeah, for the skill sets and the attributes that you now have. Like, bro, you watch Messi. Like, I was actually watching Messi during the Cape Verde. Bro, Messi is like non-existent in terms of like movement for a majority of the game, which is what Messi is known for. But you just watch like how he's just reading the game and then putting himself into positions. And even the first goal, I think it was his first goal, like nothing is happening. You see what I'm saying? And if you're a defender, I think that's even why the defender was just caught super off guard by it, right? He's offside for a second until he sees that suddenly the ball is on, right? He makes
Mm,
eye contact with whoever that defender was, the Argentine, and then he decides to make it like a curve run, right? Boom, control,
Yeah.
shoot, goal, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? And then I can go back to walking, and I feel like if Ronaldo allowed himself to be more selective in terms of like his positioning, right? And if you don't have the pace, you don't, and I don't think you need the pace like that, right? If you know how to position yourself and to time and you have the timing down pat. But it almost feels like when you look at Ronaldo, it's like he's still trying to rely on that power to get him over the mark, but he just doesn't have that anymore, right? So uh, listen, it's sad to see. We did get the Ronaldo tears though, for those who are wondering. Mind you, I stayed to watch after the game ended to see if the tears are gonna come out. Yeah, and we got him. So yeah, man.
And viewers and listeners think that I'm the biggest hater. Damn.
Actually,
Oh,
I'm actually not a Ronaldo hater. I'll tell you that much. I'm neither a Ronaldo hater nor a Messi hater. Um, I I think they're both good, respectively in their own right, and I personally have no preference over the two. So when it comes to that debate, yeah, like I don't even entertain it.
really?
Yeah, in that regards. So
two games that the big thing for me, or the title for these two games, the takeaway for the two games are justice has been served. Two games that I'm alluding to, France Paraguay, for the abysmal rugby style that Paraguayans played, and Belgium US for that red card that was rescinded. 4-1. The Belgians won. Trossard is having an unreal World Cup. He's on fire. The way that he's playing, the way that he's playing across the front line, um, and France, just the way that they beat the Paraguayans, like they weren't there to play; they were there to injure. Some of the tackles, some of the tactics that was set out by the Paraguayan national team, it was kind of disgraceful because they are talented. They do have talented players on that team. And do I think that they could keep up with the French side with the talent that they have? No. But I think they could have given the French side a way better game than what they did. Their tactic from the start was to try to get in their heads, and it didn't work. And then they resort to kicking.
which personally I personally didn't mind. I thought it was entertaining as hell. I did miss the last UFC event. So I think this game more than made up for it. And
Oh my God.
listen, I do feel like and yes, obviously, right, like it's soccer, but if I'm a Paraguayan, right, and I'm looking at it and it's like you see what I'm saying, the level in terms of this, right, like it's a super team that you're playing up against, and even the French, right, you can tell like these guys are getting pretty, their ego, and the French are also known for having, you know what I mean, like
That's like watching Arsenal play Chelsea. There's different levels to it, right? That's
all right,
why,
you know what, I'm
Chelsea
not
typically just goes to get red cards and, you know.
I'm not even here on this episode specifically to banter. So yes, we will. If you want to use that as the example, then by all means, yes, it is exactly like that. Um,
We've
so
kept it PG-13 until what, like 40 minutes in? Come on now. We gotta, we can't keep it PG-13 always.
why not, bro? It's like it's like a Wall-E movie, right? Like you want to bring the kids, right?
The
You know,
fact that you don't have any kids and you know what Wally is, I'm actually very impressed.
bro, I swear everyone knows. I know CJ knows what Wally
I
is
have
because
no idea what you guys are talking about.
man, are you serious?
Yeah.
You don't know
Damn,
Wally?
bro.
I thought you were talking about Wale for a second from
No, no, no,
the
no.
Maybach music group.
See what I'm saying?
Damn, that's crazy. But yeah, no. So listen, I feel like the Penguins did what they did. Um, right? No one was injured, and I do think yeah, you got to rough him up. If I'm a Penguin, I'm doing the I would be doing the same thing, right? I definitely be looking to rough him up, kind of like what Neymar tried to do to Odegaard, right? I'm pretty sure you guys saw a glimpse of that. And then after the game, right, you kind of just you apologize about it if you want to do all that. But yeah, bro, no way you're leaving that game, wait, with the way you guys are playing with a victory and you're not getting touched, bro. Like pause. So yeah.
Um, uh, last last game that I want to. Well, there's two games left. One game, Canada, Morocco. I don't think the score line was fair for the way that that game went through. I think the Moroccans were. I mean, you guys know how I feel about the Moroccan national team. I've had a distaste in my mouth about them since AFCON and the towel gate and allegedly trying to poison other national teams that they were facing, and just a lot of nonsense from the Moroccan national team. And I think um, they're facing France again, and majority of the Moroccans did grow up in France, so it's going to be a very interesting game. But the real game, the real UFC event, England, Mexico at the Azteca. Ding 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 ding. Where's
Yo, that
Bruce Buffer?
stadium is lit.
Yeah, there's
I'm
a
not gonna
lot of
lie.
Yeah.
I was watching that at home and I felt like I was like almost there. Like
yeah
that
Yeah.
place. And apparently it's like the last game there, I'm hearing.
where the World
It's
Cup final
insane
is.
that the US got the rest of the games. Like eh, honestly, I think the final should have been at the Azteca. And the
Mm,
only reason why maybe it's not there is because of the altitude, but like imagine how crazy that would be,
yeah.
right? Like I get it, the security and all that stuff, sure, the US, but
So
like
the final
you
isn't there.
no, the finals in
Oh, it's
New
in New
Jersey.
York, right?
Yeah, it's in New
Yeah.
York. Third place is in Miami, and the finals in New York. Yeah. Um, but y- listen, the entire week leading up to it, there was a lot of comments from Thomas Tuchel about the atmosphere, the altitude, the lack of rest time, and climatization, and this and that. But you have to give it to the Brits. Like they played well. Even going down a man, and I know we talked about it, like we may have different views on it, but they played well. And Jude Bellingham has finally arrived at this World Cup. This was a statement game for Bellingham. Um, he quieted all the haters, myself included, because I think he has a massive attitude problem, and I think you can't coach attitude. He has all the talent in the world, and you can be egotistic, but at some points you have to set that ego aside for the collective. And I think in this game he actually did that. I think he actually did that because some of the runs that he was making, the defensive plays, there was one corner back post where the ball got through and Bellingham made a last-ditch tackle, and you saw the way that Jordan Pickford was celebrating with him. Like this was Bellingham's marker. Um, how did you guys see this game? Don't everybody speak at once? Oh,
Oh shit. I thought I had frozen out there for a second. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
yeah, I can see it. Oh, there
Okay.
we. Well, it's now
Laurent
it's the
just dipped
two.
out.
Yeah,
Okay.
you didn't want to talk about England.
I was gonna say, bro, man, as soon as he heard England, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go reap with my you know, go reap in my sorrows with my Congolese. But yeah, I know. Um, damn. I mean, from as far as I'm concerned, obviously, like I think the performance itself was. I think it surprised all of us. I spoke to some of my guys and some of my mates ahead of time, thinking that I didn't have a good feeling about the game. Um, I thought that for sure, England was going to bow out on the day because they've played all right so far this tournament, and they have the individuals that make the difference, right? The Harry Kanes and that, but like again, even against Congo, scrape through against Congo. With all due respect to Congo, a couple of the games, right? Ghana, they looked unconvincing, and you're thinking Mexico at the Azteca. And the way Mexico's been playing so far this tournament, they've come out the blocks firing.
Hmm.
I just fear the worst, right? And then I'm also thinking, some of the better players who are some of our guys, right? The Arsenal boys that make a difference to this English England team, the likes of Saka, the likes of Declan Rice. Like, we're not talking about it enough how much those guys are running on empty, based on the club season that they've had for Arsenal, going all the way, going the distance, playing that many games and not having any rest. Like, as far as I'm concerned as an Arsenal fan, I'm concerned for Declan Rice. I'm concerned for Saka, amongst other
Hmm.
players at the World Cup. Saliba, we're hearing talks about him having an operation potentially afterwards, but specifically England, yeah, like Rice and Saka are key to England, and going into that game. Again, the high altitude, the intensity, the 90 minutes, the work rate that you're gonna have to go through to get through that game. I was just thinking, yeah, if Saka and Rice and these guys, aren't at their best, England don't really have much of a chance. Harry Kane is gonna have to stand on his head. Lo and behold, it wasn't even Harry Kane. Like you said, Jude Bellingham was the man on the day to get England through. And that's what they do have, right? That's what maybe, we need to pay more attention to and we need to talk about more is the fact that they do this England team, whilst they may not be, the best on the eye and they have players who can make a difference. They have moments players, right? They definitely have a bunch of
Yeah.
moments players. And Jude Bellingham, it was his turn yesterday to make his mark on the day. And he definitely did that. And I have to applaud him. That's what big players do. Big time Real
Hmm.
Madrid guy, won the Champions League with Real Madrid. That's what you're expecting from that kind of player, to be honest. And so he turned up on the day, and just keeping on theme with our guys for a second, Declan Rice and Saka, both in their own right, made us proud, made me proud as an Arsenal fan because, Declan Rice again, who is a guy who seems like he's one sprint away from snapping something, his hammy, whatever, knock on wood. Like
Yeah.
he put in another Warriors performance yesterday. We've seen that time and time again for Arsenal, right? That kind of shift, backs against the wall, leaders, captains performance. That was a typical Declan Rice performance that we see week in, week out at the Arsenal. And Saka, the guy's playing at 50, 60%, and he gets an assist, a crucial assist for the first goal. That's the difference between your Sakas and the rest of those guys in that group,
Madueke.
right? The difference between Saka and Madueke, the difference between Saka and Rashford, even, and some of the other wingers, and why everybody likes Saka and why we trust him so much is he's got end product. Madueke is so dangerous one on one. These guys, so dangerous one on one. Doku, even, some of the wingers, Barcola, some of these people that we're linked with, even Barcolas and the likes, some of them are so dangerous one on one, and they'll beat their
Hmm.
with their winger, their defender, and they'll skin their defender, every day of the week. But sometimes you don't know what they're gonna do at the end of those runs. But with Saka, one thing I feel like you can always trust with Saka is his end product, whether it's a goal or an assist.
Yeah.
And he can go both ways, and that's the special thing about him, right? He's not just gonna go to his left all the time. He can go on his right, and that delivery on his right foot yesterday for that cross into Jude, again, that's another thing we see time and time again at Arsenal. Is just Saka's delivery never fails, and pinpoint ball into Jude Bellingham to get his head on it, and boom, it's 1-0. Which was a crucial time in the game to get that goal, right? Because when Mexico's on top and the stadium's bouncing, what a way to
Hmm.
quiet the stadium. So I have to say I'm very pleased from again both an Arsenal and an English perspective that our boys helped England see it through, and I think, yeah, I think it was definitely a performance that made everybody stand up and take notice that England is serious, because that is a real statement win. Like, make no mistake, Mexico
That's
in the Azteca,
massive.
that is a statement win.
That's
And people, I
massive.
think, were waiting for England to fall, and then the narrative will come back out again about England, and they're not able to bring it home and not get over the line. And that still may be the case. They may still go out to Norway or
To
whoever they play
Norway.
next. But
Yeah.
I think yesterday was definitely a time to be positive and to big up those guys, as opposed to talking anything negative. There's not really much negative you can say on the day. I think obviously the red card was the red card, but tactically, Tuchel got it spot on. I think in the second half, he tapped into his inner Arteta for those last 20, 25 minutes, and just get Dan Burn
Bring it
on,
on.
get
Yeah.
Jed Spence, bring on Stone,
Oh
five at the back,
God.
and just Defend for your
Defend for your
lives.
lives. Yeah. Saka actually sent set a record. I don't know if you knew
Mm,
this for England. He's the first English player to register 3 assists at a Men's World Cup, only playing 192 minutes.
mm.
192 minutes, and he's had 3 assists. That's insane.
It is, man. End product.
That is insane. So, now just quickly, I know you and I had differing views on the Joao Kwanzaa red card. Red card for you?
Yeah. I said it was a red card, and I do want to hear your explanation. I know you said it in the group chat, but I want to hear your explanation, I guess, verbally now, out loud as to why you think it wasn't. But the reason why I think it was again, like I said, I think because, and yes, I understand things look worse in slow motion or like a freeze frame still image. But Kwanzaa, there's no doubt about it. I don't even think you would even deny this, that Kwanzaa was high in the tackle.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, very high, and definitely could have been a leg breaker if the guy's foot was planted. That's definitely one of those leg breaker tackles. Um, Maybe the fact that the saving grace, what England might use as an appeal, and maybe you'll agree to this, is the fact that his foot was rolling over the ball, and that's why it looked worse because he did kind of maybe get the ball first, and then his foot rolling over the ball went into the guy's shin area. So maybe that's what made it look worse than what it actually was. Look, at the end of the day, yeah, I think for me, regardless, when you're that high, I think you don't really have too much of a case, and I think the red card was justified. While I'm supporting and rooting for England, I'm going to be honest, and in my opinion, I think yeah, Kwanzaa did deserve to walk there because yeah, I just don't think you can be that high at that pace and at that speed going into that kind of tackle like that. It was always going to be a red. I'm surprised the referee didn't even see that in real time, but that's just my opinion. I just think it was late and I think it was very high. That's pretty much the justification for the red card for me.
I think it's like one of those orange. There's a lot of discussions about like orange and if it's not fully red card, not fully yellow card, it's a little bit more. That's the way that I looked at it because yeah, it was high, but he hit the ball and his foot went over. I think for me, the reason why I don't think that that's a red card is because of the lack of consistency in this World Cup with some of the t tackles, right? Like you're getting VAR intervening in certain scenarios, in other scenarios they're not intervening, and I think there is no consistency in what a red card is. Now, for England, I would 100% encourage them to appeal that red card. Knowing what happened with Floor and Balogun, like 100%.
What do you
Get
think they
Prince
could
hit
use to justify getting that overturned though, compared
for
to the Balogun one?
for the Balogun. There is a hold on. I was listening to it today. There is apparently a article. Red card. Apparently, there's an article in the yeah. See, after Trump so controversial, or was it? There was an article in FIFA. What's it? What's it? Where was it? Well, I mean, to be fair, his was like Messi's. Um, but Messi never got it.
Like, who Kwanzaa's was like Messi's or Balogun's?
Balogun's.
Because from my perspective, even without looking at what you're gonna show me for a second, I think the one thing you can use to justify why Balogun's should get overturned and why Kwanzaa's isn't is because Balogun wasn't like there wasn't he actually wasn't even trying to tackle. He was just trying to land in that moment. And the guy's foot was in Balogun's landing
Yeah.
area when he was just trying to plant his foot down. Whereas obviously Kwanzaa is literally making an out and out tackle that he just gets wrong. Balogun wasn't even tackling. He had his foot raised to try and trap that ball, and then when his foot landed, it lands on top of the player. One of those unfortunate ones. So that's why I can see any sort of appeal that US would make. I think with them using those grounds, that would make sense. I'm really curious to know how they're going to use Kwanzaa's to try and say, how you can overturn that. Oh, he didn't mean to do it, like, or oh, it was an accident. Like the guy's full-fledged tackling and got the tackle wrong, whereas Balogun's, like I said, wasn't a tackle. So I'm curious to know what thing they're going to use to justify Kwanzaa getting it overturned.
So the it's Article 27 of the disciplinary committee rules to reverse the ban. Article 27 for FIFA reads the judicial body may decide to fully or partially suspend the implementation of a disciplinary measure. The rule states, by suspending the implementation of the sanction, the judicial body subjects the person's sanction to a probationary period of 1 to 4 years. Now, for anyone who's a lawyer, they may understand that better, but the way that I understand that is from the podcast that I listened to today is essentially his red card is suspended for this World Cup, and the next time that he plays, he has to serve that suspension. Which to me is like, like,
No.
wait, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, justice was served. I already said that with Belgium beating the U.S. But let's just say in a scenario that the U.S. won and Balogun scored. Now, what do you think the Belgium national team was going to do? Right?
Yeah. It's
Like
just
UEFA's already accused FIFA of crossing the line. Like
yeah.
you can't. Ah, see,
The
Laurent
integrity
and
of
I
the
were
game.
talking about it. Like I don't want to get politics into our podcast, but this was a political decision. This had nothing to do about football. Whether you're right or wrong, whether you and I, because you and I disagree. Like, if it's called a red card, it's called a red card. Yes, I'm disagreeing with you about the Kwanzaa. And then we're also disagreeing about the Balogun one. But like, you, you can't just be like, oh, the president of the country called me that it's the host nation. I'm just gonna come up with an article that, yes, the article is in there, but now what is the precedent that you're setting,
Yeah, it's not a good look.
right? Like, yeah,
So okay, so but I see what you're saying. So that article, like what England would use to try and get Kwanzaa's overturned. It's not even to get it overturned. It's just to delay it. Is that what the article is? To delay it.
yeah,
Okay, so I see. So it's not even about overturning it. It's about delaying it to use at a later time. It's crazy that that's even a thing in an article in the like what?
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
No, man. And the fact that again it had to be him of all people, that guy Donald Trump, getting himself involved and again using his power, if you will, to to bully not bully, not even bully, but because what's his name? What's the FIFA president's name?
Infantino.
He just
He bowed
succumbed to
down.
it. Yeah, he did. He
He
did.
bowed down.
He didn't have a backbone. He didn't have a spine.
But
For
he didn't
somebody,
bow down when the Somalian referee was coming over and they denied him
yeah,
access. He didn't bow down when all the Mexican players that came over were getting strip searched, and when the Iraqi players came over, they were getting strip searched.
yeah,
He didn't bow down when the Iran national team couldn't stay.
yeah.
And again, it has nothing to do with the political side of things. So anyone listening, you're like, oh well, I'm taking the political side. We're just talking about football. We're talking about players with football. You're talking about a Somalian referee who's refereed big games. He's literally a referee, and you're denying him access. So Infantino picks and chooses when he wants to talk, and
Get
this is where
involved. Yeah.
the big picture of things, where a lot of football fans are upset. Like how, like if I'm a Belgian fan, like I'm actually very impressed that none of them injured any of the U.S. players, right? Like,
No, they did. They did literally just beat them at football and showed them
yeah,
that, we're the better side and justice was served and football really won today.
yeah, football won.
Definitely.
Um, so the last two games, we got Argentina tomorrow against Egypt. Winner of that faces the winner of Colombia, Switzerland. Um, now, before we wrap it up, I do want to pick your brain about um, some of the transfer some of the transfer stuff that's been going on um, with uh, with our little brothers, Nando's FC, aka Spurs, um, and the 115, resetting the market for midfielders again. Like Elliot Anderson, 135 mil.
Hmm.
Mateus Fernandez, albeit great player. but Mateus Fernandez of the championship for 85 mil. If he was in the Premier League, I would understand, but in the championship, 85 mil? And then Sandro Tonali, 100? Sure. uh, Declan Rice, we got him half price. Are we being serious right now?
Yeah. Look, and we're an hour in, so next, I really do want to spend the next pod we do talking about the Arsenal transfers and what's going on in the market at the moment, because it is market madness, as we're calling it.
Right?
But quickly now, as we're talking about Spurs specifically, and the precedent that Man City set, yeah, it's nuts, man. And like when you think that, I think definitely the saying, Declan Rice, we got him half price is true, because if these guys are worth 100 mil, then Declan Rice, who's twice the player that they are at the moment, is worth 200 mil. So we literally got him half price when you see what these guys are going for. Players with less on their CV, right? For Mateus Fernandez has been relegated twice now. Um, you know, Anderson, who what has he done in his career so far? With all due respect, again, like he's a good player, tidy player. 100
Yeah.
north of 100 mil? Come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like what are we saying? And so it messes up the market for the likes of Arsenal and everybody else, because guess what? I don't even blame Villa, like for them saying, "Oh, okay, Anderson's worth this. Well, we're going to use that and say Rogers is worth 130 mil." I don't want to pay 130 mil for Rogers. You must be out
No.
of your mind. But can you blame Villa for tagging Rogers with that
No.
price? No,
Hell no.
because Rogers
Yeah.
and arguably has done more than Anderson. Rogers is a difference maker in the final third. He's got goals and assists. He's won the Europa League, etc. He plays for a bigger club, with all due respect, than Anderson's played for Forest and obviously Newcastle before that. But Rogers is playing for a Champions League level club, and again, he won the Europa League. He's one of their best players. He affects the game where it matters in goals and assists category. So Rogers, for them to say Rogers is worth more, and okay, Anderson is worth this, then Rogers is worth 130. They're well within their rights to say that based on the
Yeah, of
market.
course.
But this is the problem that Man City has, the precedent that they've set, and hopefully this 115 that we're still waiting on for years now does its job and comes out sooner rather than later, because City is still
Yeah.
continuing to just mash up the market. Now, from
Yeah.
a Spurs perspective, I want to put Arsenal fans' minds at ease. I talked to a couple Arsenal fans, and people are thinking, oh, are we worried about what Spurs are doing? I'd argue that I'd say, like, look, Spurs had to do this. Spurs had to pay whatever price these clubs are quoting, because they need to appease their fans at the moment. Spurs have had two 17th place finishes or whatever it was, two relegation battles, two back-to-back
Hmm.
years. They're in turmoil. Um, you know what I mean? Back when we were fourth, or not even fourth, when we were lower than that, we were eighth, fifth, whatever. I wanted business done early. I wanted statement signings being made, because I'm like, oh my God, we've had poor seasons. Where you're, as fans, you're worried about what's going on. Right now, I'm relaxed. We're Premier League champions. We're Premier League champions. We've just won the league. Everything is good at the moment with us. I'm relaxed. I also trust who's in the door for us at the moment. I trust Berta. I trust the recruitment team based on the summer they had last year. So,
Hmm.
with that being said, the fact that we're Premier League champions, I'm willing to take time and wait for to see what business we're going to do. Because guess what? A lot of our targets are going to be at the World Cup, because we're not shopping in the category of the best players. So it's natural that during a World Cup summer, you're not going to get your targets right away and early and this and that. But Spurs, I think they've had to make a statement to their fans, because they have a
Fans,
lot of
yeah.
catching up to do. And they were always going to have to pay over the odds, because clubs know that Spurs are a desperate club right now.
Hmm.
So they're going to have to go out and pay whatever going rate is that these clubs are offering, just to help steer the ship out at that dead club right now. You know what I mean? They're in turmoil. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be too worried, Arsenal fans out there at the moment.
No.
Spurs have a lot of catching up to do, so they have to spend this kind of money. They have to try and catch up. So the ambition that they're showing is something that they have to do to put everyone's mind at ease, to put their fans' minds at ease. De Zerbi's obviously going to come in with big demands, and so listen, they still have a lot. They have a lot of catching up to do. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think sometimes you know how it is, right? As fans, we get caught up with what other clubs are doing, and then we kind of get a little bit nervy and a little bit anxious and say, okay, we got to step up. But remember, we're Premier League champions, like I keep alluding to. We are the benchmark at the moment. We should just, everybody just, continue to keep your feet up, enjoy the summer, enjoy being Premier League champions. Our business will get done, I assure you. It's just a matter of when. It's not the transfer window isn't about who does their business first. It's about who does their business right come the end of it. So
Yeah.
I think we're still in a good spot.
And remember last year with Liverpool, right? Liverpool had a
Hmm.
bunch of signings, and the reason why you and I differed on who we thought was going to win the Premier League is because yes, Spurs don't have any don't have any European games, but these players still have to mesh,
Mm.
right? When you're talking about the Arsenal, when you're talking about City, when you're talking about even I would argue Villa, these players have been playing together for many years, so they understand the flow of the game together. They've been in the
Yeah,
same system, and that's a huge part of it. Yes, Tonali is a good player. Yes, Manhaka is a good defender. Yes, brings the experience. Yes, Senesi is a good defender. But you first have to mesh together, and then you have to learn the system. Yes, from on paper they look a lot better, and it's one thing to learn the system when you're in the training ground. It's another thing to implement it against sides who are going to try to break you down. So I fully agree with you. I'm not concerned at all. I think we're being very smart. And I think with some of the players that we're linked to, like, yeah, I agree with you. If it's 130 mil for Morgan Rogers, go get Vinny. Go get,
yeah,
go get
yeah.
Barcola. Go try to get Due. Go try to get Cavaskelia. Because as much as I think Morgan Rogers gives us some Premier League experience, we need that flair on the left wing.
Hmm.
And this is no disrespect to Trossard, because I think, like I said earlier, he's having an unreal World Cup. But at that price, I'm sorry, I, I want I want someone who, when I see their name on the starting lineup, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry for the explicit, but I want that fuck yeah factor. You know? Like I want defenders to worry. And right now, they're worried defenders are worried because of the system. They're not worried about any of our individuals, I would argue. You know what I
yep.
mean? They're worried about the system that we have that we can break you down, but they're not like, "Oh shit, we just brought on so and so." You know? But yes, we need to spend like a proper once the World Cup's done, we need to spend a proper podcast on, what we want to see, what type of players that we're going to target, what holes that we have, um, and some of the other business around the country. But yeah, listen, we're the Premier League champs. We are
Don't
the
let people
benchmark.
forget that.
Yeah, we are the benchmark. Um, don't let anyone say anything otherwise. All these haters are still coming out saying that we won by Haram ball. At the end of the day, when our name's on that trophy, it doesn't say anything else but Arsenal FC 2025, 2026. That is all it says. So, anything else to add before we wrap it up, CJ?
No, man, it's good to be back. It's been a while since we got on the pod. So yeah, man, it's been busy for us folks, but that's natural during the summer, the off season. So I think some of us are even still recovering from the long campaign that was last year. So I'm actually enjoying this break because guess what? In a month's time, we're gonna have to do all this all over again and stress out watching the Arsenal all over again. And so I'm cool to bide my time right now and yeah, enjoy the off season. But yeah, the content will definitely be coming thick and fast. Once we get rolling, we'll get back to our regular routines, our twice a weeks and all that stuff once the season gets closer. But yeah, man, no, it's just good to still be here and still be doing some content.
I had to do a double take. I was like, damn, CJ's on the pod. We're on the pod together for the first time in like three
Yeah, it's
weeks.
been a while,
What the hell is going on?
for
Oh
real.
shit. But yeah, hopefully I'll get the twins on the pod. They got their Arsenal kits with their last
Mhm.
names on it. Sorry, with their first names on it. And then yeah, we'll do a watch along with the twins. Get them to
Yes,
watch,
sir.
get them to understand what football is all about.
I like the sound of
Oh,
that.
fuck. All right, folks. Keep it tuned here at the home of the Premier League champs, and we'll be back with another episode. Adios.
Adios.